Self-Management Fund, Resilience, Recovery and Development. What have we learned? Lauren Redmond, Enable Scotland.
So Jan Savage is our Director of Enable Scotland. She was due to be with us today, but she's not able to, so I'm going to introduce, and then Lauren, who delivers the project every day, is going to talk us through it. So Enable Scotland is part of the Enable Group. We are the charitable services part of Enable Group. We support, we have 12,000 members and supporters across Scotland, and 33 branches, which are independent charities which are affiliated to Enable and deliver community services as well. We are very much a member-led self-advocacy organisation, and directly we support and give advice to over 1,500 people each year, which are people who have a learning disability and their families. We are also very involved in campaigns for change. That is a huge part of what we do to make sure that the services we deliver make a difference, but also that we are creating change out with that as well.
It's nice to be with you all. My name's Lauren and I deliver the project, as Nicole said. So why did Enable think the project was needed? So despite self-directed support in Scotland legislation being around since 2013, it was implemented in 2014, we were really concerned about the lack of people accessing SDS and actually the lack of people that knew sometimes even what it was. We also realised that advocacy and information services were traditionally focused at families of people who had a learning disability, and they often weren't accessible to people who actually had a learning disability themselves. So we often had our members saying that, you know, their parents could maybe get information, but they found it difficult to get information themselves. So as well as that, people were unable to access independent advice and information, and they weren't aware of their rights. So despite some people actually maybe having self-directed support and maybe having a budget, they still weren't really sure what they were entitled to, and as I said, they weren't aware of those rights. And we felt that people with a learning disability had actually become the invisible population, and I've actually heard other people describe that as well. So it clearly wasn't just us that felt that, and I think that was particularly highlighted during the pandemic, during COVID-19. So this is just a little case study about one of our members who actually, this came to us before the project happened. I'll briefly sort of read through his story, but our member fell and broke his ankle. He had to go into hospital just before Christmas. He said that he was worried about it because of COVID-19, and I think we all were at that stage. When he was in there, he was able to keep his iPad, and he was so grateful because he was able to take part in the ACE Connect sessions that are so important to some of our members, all of our members, I think. And that's what really helped keep his spirits up. At one of the Zoom meetings, someone noticed that he was in hospital and asked when he'd be getting out. He wasn't sure. I think he'd been told that he needed some social care support, but didn't really know what that was or what that meant for him. And he felt like it was taking ages. He was stuck in hospital, and it was nearly Christmas time, and nobody wants to be in hospital over Christmas. The ACE team had said that they might be able to get him some help, which he was really grateful for. And we arranged for one of our colleagues, Gary, to phone this member and explain just what social care was, how it worked, how many hours, you know, all about the budget and that sort of thing. And that he explained that he had choices, you know, so they helped him get an organisation to support him. And he didn't get home for Christmas, but he managed to get home for the new year. So he says at the bottom, the next step is that I can find out about how to take control of my budget, and I would like to have a say in choosing the right person who supports me. It's all new to me, but I know more about my rights, which is really important. So what did we do? We set up a national advice line for individuals with a learning disability so that they could call us directly, and also their parents and carers. And that's nationwide, so it's across Scotland. We provide accessible advice and guidance in a way that everyone understands. So not everybody understands information in the same way. So we've tried to make that as inclusive as possible and be a bit creative with things and deliver things in a way that everyone understands. We also offer one-to-one casework for more complex cases, and that's obviously with myself. And there's no time limit for that. It's open to everyone. And as I said, for some of the people that I've now been working with, I've been working with them since the start of this project. So there's no time limit. It's not time sensitive. We advocate on behalf of the people that we support. That could be with health, with social care, with education, with employment, whatever that situation needs us to be there and be that voice. We also offer person-centred planning to help figure out how people want to live their life, because quite often we find that people are getting budgets but actually have no idea what they want to do or how they want to use that or how their life could be improved. So we do some work with them to figure that out. And we also offer online seminars and information sessions with peer support groups across Scotland again. And through this project, we also are able then to access the wider charity. So through my work, once I maybe get people to a better place, I can then introduce them into our ACE groups. We have a welfare rights advisor that we can get to speak to them on a one-to-one basis. We have Enable Works that I often work with to get people back into employment, our local area coordination teams to get people involved in their communities, and also Scottish Council, where basically all the decisions are made and sort of decide what's going to happen within the charity. So how have we helped? So far, we have received 345 inquiries via the National Advice Line. We've supported 85 people and their families to access self-directed support through one-to-one casework. And by that, I mean really intensive work. And as I said, sometimes it's for 6 or 7 months. It's attending meetings, it's being an advocate, it's being at the end of the phone, it's really intensive work. We've also worked with people across 25 of the 32 different local authorities in Scotland to date, so accessing people all across the country. We've delivered 77 online seminars through our Family Connect service to parents and carers, and what we do is we offer guest speakers each week to come and speak to our group with topics that are going to be useful and important to them. So we've had CAMS, we've had guardianship experts, we've had carer centres, we've had various, education, law, transitions, various people that we hope are offering those parents and carers something useful. We have 417 followers in our closed social media peer support group, and 126 people signed up to our mailing list, and that continues to grow all the time. We've also developed relationships and partnerships with other organisations and local authorities, so we're doing a lot of joint working, so being invited to lots of sort of multidisciplinary meetings, that sort of thing. So it's really nice that we're getting out there, we're getting to meet other organisations with the same values, the same sort of goals as us. And we've also created an accessible resource for people with a learning disability, and we're continuing to expand on that. We put together an assertiveness workshop. Me and my colleague Gail have put that together, and that's for people with a learning disability and their families to allow them to advocate for themselves positively. It's a fun workshop that just makes you think about situations, difficult conversations, could be with social work, could be with health, whoever that is. And we've made that into a really interactive workshop, which we've delivered 4 sessions so far. So I've got a little video here that will introduce Nova. Nova is one of the first people that I worked with on the project. And just to give you a wee brief story, this video shows her in her lovely new home, really happy. But when she first came to me, she was actually sofa surfing between her sisters, her mum. She had nowhere to live. She was being told that she should go into a care home or consider shared accommodation, which she didn't want. She was adamant that she wanted her own home, and we supported her to do that. So here's just a very, very brief clip showing you who Nova is, and so you get to see who I'm talking about. Yeah. Thank you.
I would live in Scotland and with my family. I would be able to have my own stuff.
So that was Nova. As I say, I just think it's nice to put a face to who I'm talking about. So this is just a wee thank you from Sarah, who's Nova's sister. So without Lauren's vast knowledge and professionalism, I doubt we would be where we are today with my sister. Nova is settled in her own flat with a full care package and a brilliant staff team caring for her. Having an advocate from an organisation such as Enable has been absolutely invaluable on our journey through the minefield of social work, social housing, and in dealing with so many different points of contact along the way. To say we've had to battle the system would be an understatement, and just knowing we have a kind, caring, empathetic and highly professional individual such as Lauren backing us has made the journey much more manageable. Organisations such as Enable really are a godsend, and without them families such as ours would be truly stuck. People who can't advocate for themselves, such as my sister Nova, would fall through the gaps, ending up living in an environment that they don't want with their choices stripped away. With Lauren and Enable's help, Nova is now living a full and enriched life and making choices under her own terms. We can't thank Lauren and Enable enough. So it's always lovely to hear that you've made such a big difference in somebody's life. And as a result of Nova, and actually others, but Nova was the sort of first person that brought this to our attention, we realised that lots of people in Scotland were being forced into places that they didn't really want to be in, whether that was care homes, or, just they weren't being given the choice of where they wanted to live. We also came across people that had been living in hospital for years who were medically fit, but were told that there was nowhere to look after them. People that were told that it was either hospital, you either spend the rest of your life in hospital or you are moved to England, miles away from your families. So we decided to launch a new campaign, My Own Front Door, and that's to uphold the human rights of all adults who have a learning disability in Scotland to live in the home they choose, in the community they choose, close to the people they love by 2023. The next slide is just a short video of our campaign.
Imagine you lived in a hospital unit, far from anyone you knew, where you felt uncomfortable, unhappy, lost, unable to leave. Imagine you had been there for years, not because you were unwell or needed treatment, but because the support you needed to stay at home wasn't there.
I would live in Scotland and with my family. I would be able to have my own stuff.
This is reality. This is Scotland in 2022. This is why your fellow citizens need your help. The Scottish Government's Coming Home report in 2018 laid bare this human rights emergency that is happening on our own doorstep. It found that 705 adults with a learning disability are out of area, meaning they do not live in their own community due to lack of available support. 109 people were identified as priority to return, meaning that they do not want to be where they've been placed. 67 people are living in hospital because no appropriate accommodation and support is available in their community. Of this group, 22% have been in hospital for more than 10 years, and 9% between 5 and 10 years. 3 years on, we don't know if anyone has moved back. And worse, even more people might be in this situation now. Enable Scotland is asking you to help change this now. My Own Front Door is not just a campaign, but a movement for change. It aims to uphold the human rights of all adults who have a learning disability in Scotland to live in the home of their choice, in the community of their choice, close to the people they love by 2023. We are asking you to help raise the public profile of the situation your fellow citizens find themselves in by standing alongside them to make sure action is taken now to end this practice and restore their rights to live the life they choose as equal citizens. We want to aim this campaign at people in power who can make a real difference. We cannot wait any longer, but we cannot act alone. We need you to act, to share, to speak up, and to get informed. People with learning disabilities are being subjected to a level of discrimination that we would not and do not expect other people in our society to bear. And the key to unlocking their own front door in every neighbourhood in Scotland is in your hands.
That's it. So after our campaign, the government responded and they have said that by March 2024, we want and need to see a real change with out-of-area residential placements and inappropriate hospital stays greatly reduced, to the point that out-of-area residential placements are only made through individual or family choices, and that people are only in hospital when they really need to be. So we would like to help with that, and we hope to be involved with that, but that was a really, really positive step as a result of the campaign. This here is just some feedback from people that we have worked with. So the theme that runs through the feedback that we always get is that people are just grateful for you listening, for you being in their corner, and for being able to support them. So yes, the feedback that we've had has been fantastic. So what are our plans for the next 12 months? We hope to deliver peer support groups locally and in person. So we would like to have more focused groups across the country. At the minute, obviously, the same as everybody else, everything has been virtual, and we're just starting to get back out there face-to-face with people, which is lovely. We want to continue to develop the accessible virtual library of resources for people with a learning disability. And we want to create and deliver person-centred planning training so that hopefully then we can pass that knowledge on to parents, to carers, to people that maybe lead our peer support groups, that type of thing. And most importantly, we hope to expand the team, because based on trends from the last 12 months, we expect that we will be helping even more people this next year. It's just me that runs this project, so obviously if there were more of me, we could be reaching even more people with learning disability and making a difference in more lives. And finally, thank you. So thank you to the Alliance for giving us the funding to allow us to do this valuable work. It's making such a difference in people's lives. And thank you very much for all of you to listening.